everyone, welcome to Biosecrets. Today we will discuss important MCQs of Biology, Class 11th, Chapter Locomotion and Movement for your NEET examination. Let's start from question number 1. Which of the following is the functional unit of muscle contraction? Option C, sarcomere is the correct option here. The portion of the myofibril between two successive Z lines is considered as the functional unit of contraction and it is called sarcomere. Sarcomere is the structural and functional unit of muscle contraction. It extends between two Z lines and consists of actin thin and myosin thick filaments arranged in a specific pattern. Okay. Question number 2. What is the role of calcium ion in muscle contraction? Option C is correct here. Calcium ion binds to troponin, exposing the myosin binding site on actin. So during muscle contraction, कैल्शियम आयन बाइंड्स टू ट्रोपोनिन. मसल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन के टाइम पर क्या होता है, कैल्शियम आयन ट्रोपोनिन से बाइंड होता है, which causes a conformational change in tropomyosin, exposing the myosin binding site on actin. This allows the formation of cross bridges and muscle contraction. 3. Which of the following joints allows free movement in all direction? Ball and socket joint present between humerus and pectoral girdle. Option C, ball and socket joint is correct here. The ball and socket joint. What is the location of ball and socket joint? Answer is shoulder joint and hip joint. So ball and socket joint provides movement in all directions, including rotation. This is due to the spherical head of one bone fitting into the cup-like socket of another bone. Okay. Question number 4. Which of the following is not a type of muscle tissue? So connective muscle is not a type of muscle tissue. All three options, skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. These all are the types of muscle tissue. Okay. So option C is correct here, connective muscle. There are three types of muscle tissues, skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, smooth muscle. Connective muscle does not exist. Okay. Connective tissue supports and connects different body part. Connective muscle कुछ नहीं होता है, connective tissues होते हैं जो support करते हैं, connect करते हैं different body parts को. Okay. Question number 5. In muscle contraction, ATP is required for which of the following processes? Muscle contraction में ATP की requirement कौन से process में होगी? Option A is correct here. Myosin head detachment from actin. ATP is required to detach the myosin head from the actin filament after a power stroke. This allows the myosin head to reset and prepare for the next contraction cycle. Question number 6. Which of the following conditions is caused by excessive loss of calcium from bones? Option B is correct here. Osteoporosis is the condition characterized by excessive loss of calcium from bones. Because osteoporosis is an age-related disorder characterized by decreased bone mass and increased chances of fracture. Decreased level of estrogen is a common cause of osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a condition characterized by bone weakening and increased fragility due to excessive calcium loss, often due to hormonal imbalances like decreased estrogen in postmenopausal women. Question number 7. Which of the following diseases is an autoimmune disorder affecting neuromuscular function? Option A is correct here. Myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disorder affecting neuromuscular junction leading to fatigue, weakening and paralysis of skeletal muscle. Okay. Now myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disorder in which antibodies block acetylcholine receptors at the neuromuscular junction, causing muscle weakness and fatigue. माइस्थेनिया ग्रेविस एक ऑटोइम्यून डिसऑर्डर है जिसमें एंटीबॉडीज ब्लॉक कर देती हैं एसिटाइल कोलिन के रिसेप्टर्स को. ओके. न्यूरोमस्कुलर जंक्शन पर जो एसिटाइल कोलिन के रिसेप्टर्स प्रेजेंट हैं उनको ब्लॉक कर देती हैं एंटीबॉडीज. फिर इससे क्या होता है? कॉजिंग मसल वीकनेस एंड फटीग. Question number 8. Which of the following disorders is caused by a deficiency of vitamin D? Option C, rickets is the correct option here because rickets is the disorder caused by a deficiency of vitamin D. Rickets is caused by vitamin D deficiency, leading to weak and deformed bone in children due to improper calcium and phosphate metabolism. देखिए बॉडी में कैल्शियम और फॉस्फेट के मेटाबॉलिज्म के लिए विटामिन डी रिक्वायर होता है, ठीक है। अब अगर विटामिन डी ही नहीं है तो बॉडी कैल्शियम और फॉस्फेट को एब्जॉर्ब नहीं कर पाएगी। बॉडी में विटामिन डी की डेफिशिएंसी हो जाएगी, तब कैल्शियम और फॉस्फेट का मेटाबॉलिज्म ठीक से नहीं होगा, बॉडी कैल्शियम और फॉस्फेट को एब्जॉर्ब नहीं कर पाएगी। चिल्ड्रन की जो बोन्स हैं वो वीक हो जाएंगी और उनकी शेप भी चेंज हो जाएगी। Question number 9. Which disorder is caused by uric acid crystal deposition in joints? So option C, gout is the correct option for question number 9, because gout is inflammation of joints due to accumulation of uric acid crystals. Gout is a type of arthritis caused by the accumulation of uric acid crystals in joints, leading to pain, swelling and inflammation. Okay, gout is a type of arthritis. What is arthritis? Arthritis is inflammation of joints. Okay. तो gout is caused by the accumulation of uric acid crystal. Gout में भी uric acid crystals के accumulation की वजह से joints में inflammation, pain और swelling हो जाती है. What is the cause of gout? Gout is caused by the accumulation of uric acid crystals in joints. Question number 10. What is the primary cause of tetany? So tetany is rapid spasm, wild contractions in muscles due to low calcium level in body fluid. Okay, option B is correct for question number 10, low calcium level. Tetany is caused by hypocalcemia. Hypo means low level, calcemia means calcium. So low blood calcium level cause tetany, leading to increased nerve excitability and muscle spasm. Question number 11. Which condition is caused by the accumulation of lactic acid in muscle? It causes cramps in muscle. So option B is correct for question number 11. Lactic acid accumulates due to anaerobic respiration, leading to muscle cramps during intense exercise. अगर हम ज़्यादा एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तो लैक्टिक एसिड accumulate हो जाता है हमारे मसल्स में. That leads to muscle cramps. Okay. Question number 12. Which disorder is characterized by progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle? Option B is correct here, muscular dystrophy. Because muscular dystrophy is progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle, mostly due to genetic disorder. Okay. Muscular dystrophy is a group of genetic disorders causing progressive weakening and degeneration of skeletal muscles due to defective dystrophin protein. Question number 13. Which of the following occurs during muscle fatigue? Option B is correct here. Accumulation of lactic acid occurs during muscle fatigue. During intense exercise, muscles switch to anaerobic respiration. जब हम ज़्यादा देर तक एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तब क्या होता है, मसल्स एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन करना स्टार्ट कर देती हैं. जब एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन होगा तब लैक्टिक एसिड प्रोड्यूस होगा. सो प्रोड्यूसिंग लैक्टिक एसिड विच कॉजेस मसल फैटीग एंड सोरनेस. Question number 14. The major component of bone matrix is, option B is correct here, calcium phosphate is the major component of bone matrix. Calcium phosphate hydroxyapatite makes up most of the bone matrix, providing strength and rigidity. Question number 15. The first cervical vertebra is called, option B is correct here, atlas is the first cervical vertebra and it articulates with the occipital condyle. The atlas C1 vertebra supports the skull and allows the head to nod. Nod means up and down movement. The axis, that is C2 vertebra, enables rotational movement of the head. Atlas called C1 vertebra, it supports the skull and allows the head to nod. Nod means up down movement. तो up down movement कौन कराएगा head का? C1 vertebra, that is atlas. And axis is C2 vertebra. This enables rotational movement of the head. So which is responsible for rotational movement of the head? That is axis vertebra, second vertebrae. Question number 16. Which of the following joints allows rotation around a single axis? Option C is correct here. Pivot joint present between atlas and axis. It allows rotation around a single axis. Pivot joint allow rotational movement such as the atlantoaxial joint. Atlantoaxial joint means between the first two cervical vertebrae. So pivot joint is present between the first two cervical vertebrae, that is atlas and axis. And pivot joint allows head rotation. Question number 17. The knee joint is an example of which type of joint? Knee joint is hinge joint. Option C is correct for question number 17. The knee joint is a hinge joint allowing movement primarily in one plane, flexion and extension. Question number 18. The shoulder joint is an example of which type of joint? Option C is correct for question number 18. Ball and socket joint. It is present between humerus and pectoral girdle. The shoulder joint allows movement in multiple directions, making it a ball and socket joint like a hip joint. Question number 19. Which of the following joints allows movement in only one direction? Option C is correct here. Hinge joint allows movement in only one direction and it is present in knees. A hinge joint, example knee joint, elbow joint, allows movement in only one plane, means flexion and extension. Similar to the opening and closing of a door. Hinge joint हमारे knees में और elbow में present होता है. ये similar होता है opening and closing of a door के. ओके जैसे डोर एक ही डायरेक्शन में ओपन हो पाता है, इसी तरीके से नीज हमारी एल्बो है, नीज है, ये भी एक ही डायरेक्शन में मूव कर पाते हैं. जैसे ओपनिंग एंड क्लोजिंग ऑफ डोर वन प्लेन में ही हो पाता है, सिंगल प्लेन में होता है, इसी तरीके से हिंज जॉइंट का मूवमेंट दैट इज नीज और एल्बो का मूवमेंट वन प्लेन में ही होता है. इट अलाउज ओनली वन प्लेन मूवमेंट. क्वेश्चन नंबर 20. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अ हिंज जॉइंट? Option A, elbow is the correct option for question number 20 because elbow is an example of a hinge joint. A hinge joint allows movement in only one plane, flexion and extension. Examples of hinge joint include elbow and knee joints. Question number 21. An acromion process is characteristically found in option C is correct here, pectoral girdle. The acromion process is a bony projection on the scapula, part of the pectoral girdle, which articulates with the clavicle to form the acromioclavicular joint. What is acromion? The dorsal flat triangular body of scapula has a slightly elevated ridge called the spine, which projects as a flat, expanded process called the acromion. What is a scapula? Scapula is a large triangular flat bone situated on the dorsal part of the thorax, between the second and the seventh ribs. So basically scapula is a part of pectoral girdle, ठीक है, which articulates with the clavicle. Articulates means connected with the clavicle. ये किससे connected है? Clavicle से connected है. To form the, क्या बनाता है clavicle से connect होके? Acromioclavicular joint. Question number 22. Which muscle is responsible for the movement of food along the digestive tract? So, smooth muscle is responsible for the movement of food along the digestive tract. So, option B is correct for question number 22. Smooth muscles are involuntary muscles, non-striated muscles that help in peristalsis, moving food through the digestive tract. देखिए स्मूथ मसल्स इनवॉलंटरी मसल्स हैं. इनवॉलंटरी मसल्स कौन सी होती है? जिनको हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते, विच वी कैन नॉट कंट्रोल एंड दैट डू देयर फंक्शन इटसेल्फ. So, involuntary muscles, smooth muscles are not in the control of our will. So, smooth muscles involuntary है, non-striated है, peristalsis में help करती हैं, means movement करती हैं ये food का through the digestive tract. So, smooth muscles peristalsis में भी help करती हैं, smooth muscles food को move करवाती हैं through the digestive tract. Question number 23. What is the function of myoglobin in muscle? So, what is myoglobin? Muscle contains a red colored oxygen storing pigment called myoglobin. Okay, myoglobin store oxygen in muscle fiber. So option B is correct for question number 23. And in some of the muscles, myoglobin content is high and these muscles are reddish and these muscles are called red fiber. Myoglobin is an oxygen binding protein that stores oxygen in muscles, providing an oxygen reserve for sustained muscle एक्टिविटी. ऑक्सीजन बाइंडिंग प्रोटीन है मायोग्लोबिन. मसल्स में ऑक्सीजन को स्टोर करने का फंक्शन होता है मायोग्लोबिन का, और मसल्स की एक्टिविटी के लिए मायोग्लोबिन ही रिजर्व ऑक्सीजन प्रोवाइड करता है. क्वेश्चन नंबर 24. विच मसल टाइप इज मल्टी न्यूक्लिएटेड एंड वॉलंटरी? ऑप्शन सी इज करेक्ट हियर. स्केलेटल मसल इज अ टाइप ऑफ मसल विच इज मल्टी न्यूक्लिएटेड एंड वॉलंटरी. Activities of skeletal muscle are under the voluntary control of the nervous system, so they are known as voluntary muscles. And they have number of nucleus present in them, so they are multinucleated. Skeletal muscles are multinucleated and voluntary, meaning they are under conscious control. Cardiac muscles are uninucleate and involuntary, while smooth muscles are also uninucleate and involuntary. In case of cardiac muscle and smooth muscle, only single nucleus is present. But in case of skeletal muscle, more than one nucleus are present. And cardiac muscle and smooth muscle, these both muscles are involuntary in nature. We cannot control the functioning of cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. But skeletal muscles are voluntary, means we can control the functioning of skeletal muscle. Okay. Question number 25. The type of muscle that is involuntary and striated, that is cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscles are the muscles of the heart. Many cardiac muscle cells assemble in a branching pattern to form a cardiac muscle. Based on appearance, cardiac muscles are striated. They are involuntary in nature as the nervous system does not control their activity directly. Cardiac muscle is found in the heart, is striated and works involuntarily to pump blood. Question number 26. Which type of muscle is involuntary and non-striated? Option C is correct here. Is smooth muscle, non-striated muscle. Their activities are not under the voluntary control of the nervous system and are therefore known as involuntary muscles. They assist, for example, in the transportation of food through the digestive tract, transportation of gametes through the genital tract. Smooth muscles are non-striated and involuntary. They are found in the walls of hollow organs. जो खाली organs हैं उनकी walls में present है smooth muscle, like the intestine, blood vessels, and it is controlled by autonomic nervous system. ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम के कंट्रोल में है, इनवॉलंटरी है, नॉन स्ट्रेटेड है. स्ट्रेटेड कौन सी मसल्स होती हैं? कार्डियक मसल. वॉलंटरी कौन सी मसल्स होती हैं? स्केलेटल मसल. ओके, इनवॉलंटरी कौन सी मसल्स हैं? Cardiac muscles and smooth muscle. Question number 27. Which type of muscle has intercalated disc? Intercalated disc are only present in cardiac muscle. Option B is correct for question number 27. Cardiac muscle fiber have intercalated disc which contain gap junction and desmosome, allowing synchronized contraction of the heart muscle. Always remember, intercalated disc only present in cardiac muscle. Question number 28. The sliding filament theory explains muscle contraction based on the interaction between actin and myosin filaments. So option A is correct for question number 28. The sliding filament theory states that during muscle contraction, actin filaments slide over myosin filaments, leading to shortening of the sarcomere without changing the length of the filaments themselves. Sliding filament theory के according muscle contraction के दौरान क्या होता है? एक्टिन फिलामेंट स्लाइड ओवर कर जाता है मायोसिन फिलामेंट के ऊपर. एक्टिन फिलामेंट थिन फिलामेंट होता है और मायोसिन फिलामेंट थिक फिलामेंट होता है. सो जब मसल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करती है, एक्टिन फिलामेंट स्लाइड ओवर कर जाता है मायोसिन फिलामेंट को. ठीक है, इससे फिर सार्कोमेयर जो फंक्शनल यूनिट है मसल की, वो शॉर्ट हो जाती है, शॉर्टनिंग ऑफ द सार्कोमेयर विदाउट चेंजिंग द लेंथ ऑफ द फिलामेंट. जबकि जो फिलामेंट्स हैं, एक्टिन फिलामेंट और मायोसिन फिलामेंट, उनकी लेंथ चेंज नहीं होती है. Question number 29. What is the role of tropomyosin in muscle contraction? So option A is correct. Tropomyosin blocks myosin binding sites on actin filaments. Okay. Tropomyosin is a regulatory protein that covers myosin binding sites on actin when the muscle is relaxed. When calcium ion binds to troponin, tropomyosin shifts to expose these sites, allowing contraction. ट्रोपोमायोसिन का फंक्शन है मायोसिन बाइंडिंग साइट्स को कवर अप कर देना, जिससे क्या होगा? मायोसिन एक्टिन से बाइंड नहीं हो पाएगा. नाउ व्हेन कैल्शियम बाइंड्स टू ट्रोपोनिन, ट्रोपोमायोसिन शिफ्ट्स टू एक्सपोज दीज साइट्स, अलाउइंग कॉन्ट्रैक्शन. व्हेन कैल्शियम लेवल इंक्रीजेस, इट लेड्स टू द बाइंडिंग ऑफ कैल्शियम विद अ सब यूनिट ऑफ ट्रोपोनिन on actin filaments and thereby remove the masking of active sites for myosin. Question number 30. Which of the following proteins binds calcium during muscle contraction? So troponin binds calcium during muscle contraction. Troponin is a regulatory protein that binds calcium, causing a shift in tropomyosin, exposing myosin binding sites on actin, leading to muscle contraction. Question number 31. Which part of the human body contains the largest number of bones? So hands of the human body contains largest number of bones. Option C is correct here. The bones of the hand are humerus, radius, and ulna, and carpal. Carpals are also called wrist bones. These are 8 in number. Metacarpal are called palm bone. These are 5 in number. And phalanges are called digits. These are 14 in number. So each limb is made up of 30 bones. Question number 32. What happens when calcium ion binds to troponin? So when calcium ion binds to troponin on actin filament and thereby remove the masking of active sites for myosin. Okay. So option B is correct here. Tropomyosin shift exposing binding sites on actin. Calcium ion binds to troponin, which causes tropomyosin to move, exposing the myosin binding sites on actin, allowing muscle contraction to proceed. Question number 33. Which of the following is the primary function of tendon? So tendon connect muscle to bone. Option B is correct for question number 33. Tendons are strong fibrous connective tissues that attach muscles to bone, enabling movement. Question number 34. Which neurotransmitter is released at the neuromuscular junction to initiate muscle contraction? Option C is correct here. Acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter which is released at the neuromuscular junction to initiate muscle contraction. Acetylcholine is released at the neuromuscular junction where it binds to receptors on the muscle fiber membrane, causing depolarization and triggering muscle contraction. Question number 35. What is the primary function of synovial fluid? Option B is correct here. Lubrication of joints is the primary function of synovial fluid. Synovial fluid reduces friction between cartilage surfaces in synovial joints. Example, knee joint and elbow joint. To facilitate a smooth movement. Question number 36. What is the structural and functional unit of a skeletal muscle? Option B is correct here. Sarcomere is the structural and functional unit of a skeletal muscle. A sarcomere is the smallest contractile unit of a muscle fiber. It extends from one Z line to the next Z line and contains actin and myosin filaments responsible for contraction. Question number 36. Which structure in a muscle cell stores calcium? So the endoplasmic reticulum, that is sarcoplasmic reticulum of the muscle fibers, is the storehouse of calcium ions. So option B is correct for question number 37, that is sarcoplasmic reticulum. The sarcoplasmic reticulum is a specialized endoplasmic reticulum in muscle cells that stores and releases calcium ions essential for muscle contraction. Question number 38. Which of the following bones is not part of the axial skeleton? So femur, thigh bone, that is the longest bone of the body, is not the part of axial skeleton. So femur, option C is correct for question number 38. The axial skeleton consists of the skull, vertebral column, ribs and sternum. The femur is thigh bone, so it belongs to the appendicular skeleton. Now what is appendicular skeleton? So the bones of the limbs along with their girdles constitute the appendicular skeleton. Question number 39. Which part of the human skeleton protects the spinal cord? So vertebral column, option B is correct for question number 39 because vertebral column protects the spinal cord. The vertebral column consists of 33 vertebrae that enclose and protect the spinal cord, providing structural support and flexibility. Question number 40. Which of the following bones is not part of the axial skeleton? So here option D is correct for question number 40. Humerus bone is not the part of axial skeleton. Because humerus is the bone of forelimbs, so it is a part of appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton consists of the skull, vertebral column and rib cage. Rib cage consists of sternum and ribs. The humerus is a part of appendicular skeleton. Question number 41. Which of the following joint is a pivot joint? So pivot joint is present between atlas and axis. So option C is correct for question number 41, that is atlas and axis joint. The atlas and axis, the first two cervical vertebrae, form a pivot joint that allows rotational movement of the head. Example, turning the head side to side. Question number 42. What is the primary function of myoglobin in muscle fiber? So option B is correct for question number 42 because the primary function of myoglobin is it stores oxygen in muscle fiber. Myoglobin is an oxygen binding protein in muscle cells that stores oxygen, ensuring a continuous supply for ATP production during muscle activity. Question number 43. Which type of bone is the patella? Kneecap. So kneecap is a sesamoid bone. Option C is correct for question. Sesamoid bones are small, embedded within tendons and help reduce friction. The patella is the largest sesamoid bone in the body. Question number 44. Which ion plays a crucial role in muscle contraction? So option C is correct for question number 44. Calcium ion plays a crucial role in muscle contraction. Calcium ion binds to troponin, causing a conformational change that exposes the myosin binding sites on actin, enabling muscle contraction. Question number 45. The number of bones in a newborn baby is, that is 270. So option B is correct for question number 45. A newborn baby has 270 bones, which later fuse to form 206 bones in an adult human. Question number 46. In a sarcomere, which band remains unchanged during muscle contraction? So during shortening of a muscle, that is contraction of a muscle, the I bands get reduced, whereas the A bands retain its length. Okay. So option A is correct for question number 46. A band remains unchanged during muscle contraction. The A band, which consists of myosin filaments, remains the same length during contraction, while the I band and H zone shorten. Question number 47. In tetany, sustained muscle contraction, what happens at the neuromuscular junction? So option A is correct for question number 47. Tetany increased acetylcholine release. What is tetany? Rapid spasm while contraction in muscle due to low calcium level in body fluid is tetany. So tetany is caused by continuous stimulation of the muscle due to excessive acetylcholine release or impaired breakdown at the neuromuscular junction. Question number 48. What is the function of troponin in muscle contraction? Troponin binds calcium ion to initiate contraction. So option C is correct for question number 48. Troponin binds to calcium ions, causing a conformational change that removes tropomyosin from actin's binding sites, allowing muscle to bind and initiate contraction. Question number 49. Which protein prevents the interaction of actin and myosin when the muscle is at rest? So option B is correct here. So tropomyosin is the protein which prevents the interaction of actin and myosin when the muscle is at rest. So option B is correct for question number 49. Tropomyosin covers actin's myosin binding sites when the muscle is at rest, preventing contraction until calcium binds to troponin. When calcium binds with a subunit of troponin on actin filaments and thereby remove the masking of active sites for myosin. And utilizing the energy from ATP hydrolysis, the myosin head now binds to the exposed active sites on actin to form a cross bridge. Now come to the last question of this chapter. The Z line in a sarcomere represents. So in the center of each I band, there is an elastic band called Z line which bisect I band. So option A is correct for question number 50. The boundary between two adjacent sarcomeres is Z line. Because the portion of the myofibril between two successive Z lines is considered as the functional unit of contraction and is called a sarcomere. The Z line marks the boundary between two sarcomeres and anchors the actin filaments. It plays a crucial role in maintaining the structure of muscle fiber. Now all the 50 important questions of this chapter completes here. In the next video, we will discuss next chapter. If my video is helpful for you, then please like, share and subscribe this channel. Thank you so much.